Welcome to Knife Thoughts. This video is going to be on these two fixed blades from Great Eastern Cutlery. And so these are the number 50 hunting knife and the number F90518SS fillet knife. So these are two knives that were not at all intended to be a set from Great Eastern Cutlery. They were made about 4 years apart, but I keep them as kind of a hunting and fishing set. And the reason for that is because they both have basically the same handle material. They are handle style, covers, whatever you want to call it. They are called something slightly different by GEC, which is pretty typical for Great Eastern Cutlery. They will use what seems to be the same, kind of cover or handle material and call it something slightly different, but they're basically the same, and they are both stainless steel knives, which I greatly prefer for hunting and fishing and outdoor stuff, and honestly in general for using knives and usually collecting knives, but certainly for users like these. And so they make a nice little set. I think that they go together really well. And so this one I got from the factory. So these were made actually at the end of 2019 and then released, they were made in the end of 2018 and released in 2019. So they were released right at the beginning of 2019. And there were 45 of this particular one made. There was also another version that, if I'm remembering correctly, had a longer blade, maybe either shorter or longer. It doesn't actually say on GEC's website which is which. It has a picture of the two, but I wasn't sure which was which. But I know that these were available in the store and I wanted to get one and did. And so this, like I say, is stainless, which makes sense for a fillet knife, and it is a flexible knife. So you've got a good flexible blade, which is nice for filleting, and these are 420 HC, so they are not 440C, which this knife is. So makes it a really stainless steel knife, and great for use while fishing. Now I'll be honest, I don't catch a whole lot of fish usually when I'm fishing. I've had quite the dry spell of catching snags, as my son would say, but it's nice to have it in case you need it. You can use it for things other than filleting also. And that's what I normally do. I normally keep this with my fishing gear. So I have a little kind of waist pack or fanny pack that I keep my fishing gear in and keep this attached to it. And that's another kind of interesting thing about this knife, is that it came with a Kydex sheath, which is very unusual for Great Eastern Cutlery. Their hunting knives either usually come with a leather sheath or no sheath at all. So this was kind of an interesting thing, and I think, again, I do think it makes sense for a fillet knife. Kydex is, basically not going to be affected by water, whereas if you get a leather sheath wet, it'll be affected by it. So I do like that it came with this Kydex sheath, and it's a pretty nice sheath too. So it has good retention, but it's easy to take out. You can get a good full grip on it while it's in the sheath, and then it has this belt loop, and I think that this is a very reasonable way for this to be set up to be carried, because it's a relatively long knife, so you can have it sit a little bit below your belt by having this belt loop come up like so. So I have actually carried and used this knife a good bit. Like I say, not too much filleting, but have used it for fishing, and I think it's a really cool knife. And so I saw this come up online and decided to get it, because I had some stainless GEC hunting knives in the past, and I think I only had one, but I gave it as a gift, and really wanted to get another one, but they don't make them very often. And I saw this one come up, and the fact that it was stainless and had this same handle really drew me to it. So this one is a number 50. It's a hunting knife. They didn't give these hunting knives like a full tank stamp number like they did these fillet knives. And in fact, it doesn't even have a tank stamp number on it. So hopefully you can see that. It just says Cyclops Steelworks on the one side and Great Eastern Cutlery, Titusville, PA on the other. And then you have the practical knives. If I can get it to show, Practical Knives etch. And so this is one of GEC's larger hunting knives. They do have some smaller ones also. But it's a very classic style to it. You know, it's just like the ones that you might see from 100 or more years ago. Now, I'll be completely honest, I don't think it's my favorite design for a hunting knife. I think I would actually typically prefer a little bit smaller and a little bit different blade shape and, you know, not this exact guard, but I think it's really cool and very traditional. And I have used this one a good bit also. So for some hunting, for preparing some meat chickens also, I've used it for that. And it works well. You know, I had to sharpen both of these, put a little bit thinner and more consistent edge on them, but it works really nicely. So I was really happy to get this one. This one is one of only 15. So I have the tube with me right here. You can see it's got the GEC, the Great Eastern Cutlery brand on the front, 440 stainless steel, and number 50 SS natural jigged micarta. Whereas the Filet knife, they just called natural canvas micarta. So, you know, like I say, they're basically the same thing. But there were only 15 of these made, and they were made in 2015. So it's a relatively old knife. I was probably not quite 10 years old when I got it, and I've had it for a few years. And, you know, so being rare, I was really happy to make the set. And then also, this is the sheath that comes with it. It's not the most embellished sheath that GEC has ever made. You can see it does have some embellishing here on the little snap, but relatively plain, Great Eastern Cutlery on the back, but a nice, you know, classic leather sheath. You put the knife in and snap this. Now, I will say that I don't really like this type of sheath that has the snap on the front or the edge side, because, you know, every time you're putting the knife in, you have to kind of be aware and mindful of not cutting this. I have cut these leather snaps on some sheaths before, not this one, but I have done it. And so I'd much prefer that the snap be on the other side, but it is what it is, you know. I've considered getting a different sheath made for this. I am kind of still considering that, but for now, it's a classic hunting knife sheath. So again, I think that these are just kind of really cool. I'm glad to have them. I wanted to show you also on this knife, the tang stamp. That's another thing that I really like about this one. This has this script tang stamp. Let me make sure that I am getting this shown well here. There we go. So the script tang stamp is really cool. There was a Dixie stock knife that they did with this, and I think that those are the only two knives, but I might be wrong about that. It's just that they haven't used this tang stamp very often, and I really like it. Great Eastern Cutlery, Titusville, PA, with, you know, again, in a script rather than block letters. So I do like that a lot, and another reason why I got this knife. So two really cool knives from Great Eastern Cutlery that I have really enjoyed owning and using, that I think make a really nice pair for hunting and fishing. I'd love to see GEC make, you know, a hunting and fishing pair of other, you know, handle materials and such. They have done some, you know, bird hunting, fixed blade combos where there's a hook and then a knife and things like that. But I think it would be cool to see, you know, this hunting and fishing, field and stream type thing. You know, not the trademark, but literally the field and the stream. But I just wanted to show these. I have had them for a while and have intended to do a video on them for a while, and just kind of getting to it now. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell and select all so you know when I post new videos. Check out my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like these and knife related topics. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.